You know those iconic Danish butter cookies in the blue tin that we see everywhere around Christmas time? Well, we're gonna make them and they're even better. Welcome to the Salted Pepper, where we cook for real life using real food and we keep it real simple. Today we're making cookies, but not just any cookie. We are making Danish butter cookies, and you only need 4 ingredients: powdered sugar, butter, vanilla paste or extract, and some flour. I mean, super easy. These are amazing and they taste better than the kind in the tin, right? Oh my gosh, so excited. It's 4 simple ingredients, but the ratios are super important to getting the perfect flavor and texture for this cookie. So first thing we're gonna do is add in 1 cup of butter. I'm using salted butter, but you could certainly use unsalted as well, but I would add a pinch of salt into the dough. All right, next up is powdered sugar. This is super important. You don't want to just use regular white granulated sugar, but if you only have white granulated sugar, take about 3/4 of a cup of it, put it in your high-speed blender and blend it up, and you will have powdered sugar. So that's a little workaround. Now, the powdered sugar, the way that you measure this out is it is 1 cup sifted powdered sugar. That means that it's measured after sifting. Usually I'll take out just a cup of powdered sugar and sift it and then measure out 1 cup of it after I've sifted it, and you'll have some left behind, okay? You can throw that right back into your bag or container of powdered sugar. Probably about 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar that you just scoop out of a bag will be about a cup once you sift it. So that's super important for the ratios, okay? So don't skip that. Definitely sift the powdered sugar for this recipe. You want to use the paddle attachment on your stand mixer, or you could use a hand mixer to make this. And also, I didn't mention this earlier, but the butter is room temperature, also super important in this recipe. All right, we're gonna go on low speed at first, because if you turn this baby up to medium or high, that powdered sugar is gonna go everywhere. So just go on low till it starts to combine with the butter. Right about here, you can go up to medium. And then high. After about 1 minute on high speed, we're gonna scrape down the sides of the bowl here. And then go on high speed again for another minute or 2. We want to really get this butter and sugar light and fluffy before we add our extract or paste and our flour. You'll see it start to lighten up as it really becomes lighter, and you can feel it too. So scrape down the sides and you'll feel the difference. It's like this is like moving a cloud, and before it was like moving a little bit of a stiffer butter mixture. So you really can tell the difference. That is perfect. Now I'm gonna add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla paste. I'm using my homemade vanilla paste, but you could use store-bought vanilla paste or vanilla extract. Either one is fine in this recipe. And I'm usually a little generous with the amount of vanilla, so could even be about 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 teaspoons, but you don't want to go too much more than that, or it'll color the cookies a little different. All right, now we just need to go on low speed until that's incorporated. Looks good. Now we're gonna add in our all-purpose flour. I have 1 3/4 cup. We can do this on low speed. And you're gonna add it in about 1/3 at a time. Once that has been incorporated and you no longer see the flour, you can add in the second addition of the flour. Okay, that looks good. It's almost incorporated. All right, now we're gonna scrape down the sides again. And then we will just mix it just briefly, and then we're gonna pipe it out and get these cookies in the oven. All right, so we're just gonna mix for a second or two to incorporate everything. And we are done making our cookie dough. That's it. Super easy. First of all, preheat your oven. For this cookie recipe, 350 degrees Fahrenheit is what you want. Whenever I'm making cookies, I only do one tray at a time because I like it to be right in the middle of the oven. I don't want to have to be switching around trays if they're not cooking evenly. So I do one tray at a time. That's up to you. If you want to do more than one, you can certainly do that. All right, we're gonna make simple designs, nothing fancy, okay? These cookies do spread a little bit, but not a whole lot. So I'm just gonna add some of the cookie dough here to my piping bag. And these are disposable, which I just love. Cut the tip off and I throw this bag in the trash. Okay. What I'm doing right now is squeezing the air out. And then make sure that you squeeze the dough through. Okay, so when you start to pipe these, you don't have an air bubble because that will mess up the design. You don't want to line with parchment paper for this recipe, okay? You want the bottoms to get brown and crisp, and parchment paper does impede that a little bit. How big you make these or how small you make them is completely up to you. Whether you have closed circles or open circles, it's completely up to you. They're gonna taste delicious no matter what you do. But this is how I do it. I just gently press and go around in a little circle. And they're little, so I can make them a little bigger. Okay, so there, I've got some piped out. And I'll tell you that it does take a little bit of strength, okay? So if you have arthritis, the piping is probably not the way you want to go. Instead, get a little small cookie scoop or a tablespoon and just take some out just like that. Scoop it down. Now, take something with a flat end and just sort of knock them down a little bit. Now they will spread a little bit, so they're not going to be perfect, but they're going to be delicious. Okay, there we go. Now, if you want to make little fork imprints, are gonna kind of look like peanut butter cookies then, so I'm gonna leave mine alone. Into your preheated oven, 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 12 minutes for my oven. Okay, your oven may differ a little bit, so go 10 to 13 minutes. You wanna pull them out as soon as you see the edges start to brown, okay? All right, another thing I'm gonna let you know is if you do have less strength in your hands or arthritis, only fill your bag about a quarter of the way because the lower down it gets, it seems to be a lot easier. Now, the other thing you can do, and I'm gonna do with this batch, is sprinkle them with granulated sugar, okay? All right, so once your butter cookies are done, let them cool on the cooling rack on the pan for about 5 minutes. Then we're gonna transfer them off onto the cooling rack to completely cool. All right, now the fun part, we get to taste them, or at least I do. All right, so let me grab one of these. This is not with the sugar. So they are crunchy, okay? Because that's how Danish butter cookies are. Oh my gosh. They are so good. So buttery. So good. Oh my goodness. All right, one with a little bit of sugar on top. And they're not overly sweet. That's better. I like it better with the sugar on there. All right, I'm real interested because these are bigger. Did they cook? Do they have the same texture? Do they have the same flavor? So let's find out. They're a little softer, I can tell. No, they still taste good though. They're just not quite as crisp, but they are delicious. Everything's delicious. Enjoy your simple butter cookies.